Jean-Charles Moyen is an independent filmmaker, a contactee, and a secret space program whistleblower. He has for several years now been putting out information and videos concerning his secret space program experiences and his contacts with extraterrestrials, as well as his remarkable psychic abilities. Recently, he discovered tapes from 1988 and 1992 corroborating his information, putting his testimony decades ahead of others when it comes to secret space programs and contactee experiences.
You're listening to Exopolitics Today with Dr. Michael Salla, your source for the uncensored truth regarding the human, extraterrestrial, global, and political agenda. Click the like button and subscribe to this channel. And now, here's Dr. Michael Salla.
Well, welcome back, Jean-Charles, to Exopolitics Today.
Hello, my friend. Thank you to receive me to your show. I'm very happy to be here.
Well, it is great to have you here. Now, I know we've done a few interviews in the past. You've shared your remarkable story. People know about your experiences. Now, you've discovered these tapes, these new tapes. So can you maybe just give a little bit of background as to how you discovered these tapes?
Yes, I was cleaning my office, and I clarify my office is not my desk, because people say, "Oh, I found this in this." No, not my desk. My office is my room office with a basement, and I have a lot of box inside. And I discover when I'm cleaning a box with a lot of things inside about my life when I was young, and drawing, and boom, 2 tape with a mold. So in the tape, unfortunately, at this moment, I don't have a device player to play this tape, because it's 36 later, and we don't have now. It's streaming or a CD or something else. So I decide to find to internet, to eBay, something to can read my tape. But at this moment, I don't know what are recorded at this moment. So it's a surprise. I received my player, and with Melanie, we push the button player, and it was amazing, because it was my testimony about a part of my extraordinary experience I had when I was young and a teenager, and a part of adults, about secret space program, about my past life with as a Luca in a space program, extraterrestrial, and it's a huge evidence I present now for the public, because it changed the chronology of the whistleblower in the world.
Right. So these tapes dated back from 1988 and 1992. They were old-style audio tapes, and you needed to get an audio tape player to get to play it and to hear it, and you had no memory of this, so you didn't know what was on these. And what you found was, you at those ages in 1988 and 1992 talking about experiences that you've been sharing recently. So it shows that you were talking about this, like we're talking 1988. So that's like 36 years ago that you were recording your experiences back then and sharing it. And then in 1992, you actually tuned into a radio show and shared some of that. So it's, I think it's very important.
Yes, exactly. Because at this moment, I record because my life was in danger, really in danger, and I was afraid something happened to me, or my paper book. I have a diaries, and I read and I write everything happened to me. So my only proof was my write and my record. At this moment, I don't have a camera, they don't have internet, we don't have nothing. So the only thing I had, it was the player recorder of my dad, and I use it to record this. It's like a time capsule, you know? It's like the same thing. And at this moment, I think maybe in the future, imagine 36 before, maybe in the future, it will be important for me. And my dad say, son, you have abilities like never seen before. For human, I guess your destiny is to change something in the world. And I say, do you really think that? And he say, yes, I guess, son. And you know the rest. And now this is the proof. And when I was in a radio station, public, in 1992, I explained something, but I was very be careful each word, because at this moment, 36 years ago, it's very dangerous to speak about this thing, about extraterrestrial. And I explained the Men in Black follow me, and it's insane. Myself, I'm speechless, because some people say, how it's possible you don't remember this record? I remember little things record, but I have an excuse again, sorry, because there is a lot of years I was a doorman, security doorman on a nightclub, and during a fight in a nightclub, I lost my life during 9 minutes. And during these 9 minutes, before the 9 minutes, I lost my life. My head kicked a corner of a speaker in iron, in steel, and I lost everything. My head was 3 times. I have eyes open, no heartbeat, no pulse, nothing. And during this time, I remember I was bring something was very bright around me. I heard a music. It's curious. It was Amazing Grace. And I was put on like a table, very, very cold, like a naked. And when I opened my eyes, I was in the ambulance, and the guys around me wasn't the same person I saw when I was on the bright room. It was a bright beings in white, but the first response is not dressed like that. He's dressed like red and black, with first response for the save people when they have accidents. And I was saved again. But when I came back, I have a hole in my memory, you know, because it hard kick, my head hard kick. And I guess some detail in my life, like these records, I don't remember that. So it was a surprise for me that I'm not crazy, you know. It's very important. When I discovered this tape and I read, at this moment, my memory came back, and slowly, oh, yes, I remember. But it was a trigger to remember. But I had this proof, and it's a huge, I don't have the right word to describe this, but I'm so emotional because, you know, everything changed now with this new evidence. Everything.
Well, maybe I should just kind of like summarize what you just said, just in case people didn't pick up key elements of your story. But when you're working security in a nightclub, there was an altercation. You fell backwards. You hit your head, the back of your head, on a steel speaker, and it cracked your skull. And you had a near-death experience. You were dead for like 7 minutes or 9 minutes, and then 9 minutes, right? And so then you heard Amazing Grace. You had this encounter with these white beings, and then you came back, but you lost a lot of memories, and included amongst those lost memories were that you had made these 2 tapes of what you had recalled back in 1988-89 about your psychic experiences, about your extraterrestrial contacts. And then later in 1992, when you phoned into that radio show, that you forgot all about it, and now you found these tapes, and it was like, wow, what a shock. So let's now kind of like hear a little bit from the tapes. You put out a video trailer, and you've made a film, a short documentary film detailing what was in the tapes, where people can listen to the whole tape and or much of the tape, and then they can like assess what you were saying and how that compares to what you've been saying more recently. So I want to just play an extract from the trailer where, so the setting is 1988. In December 1988, you, as an 18-year-old, you make a tape. You do an audio tape of the experiences because you were frightened that something might happen to you. So but I'm going to read them out so people can actually see or hear what you said in English. But we need to keep in mind that this was all you, as an 18-year-old, narrating what you recalled, what you experienced at that time. So let's play that first extract.
This tape that follows is my life. My name is Jean-Charles. This tape will obviously remain confidential. I don't even know why I'm doing this anyway. Well, I'm doing it in case the logbooks disappear or something happens to me. I want this tape to be proof of what I was saying. Most of the time they drive around in Jaguars or black Rolls Royces with tinted windows. I've been followed several times by these people. December 5th, 1988. It's not old because today is January 3rd, 1989. I insist on the date because afterwards we won't know where we are.
Jean-Charles in 1988, 89, as an 18-year-old, describing what was happening. So tell us, what's in the tape that you were describing?
Yeah, in this tape, I describe my past life when I was Luca in a space program with different extraterrestrial beings, and I explain what I'm doing in a space, rescue, slavery, and I was team and married with a blue beings. It was Lyra. Lyra was Melanie, my wife now. Everything I explained during a lot of interview about my past life as Luca, before I came to the body of John Charles and the body of Melanie, as extraterrestrial beings incarnated into Earth, is explained 36 years before I moved to Canada, before I met my wife. And inside this not videotape, sorry, it's audio tape, I explain the treatment I have with Men in Black. And when they bring me and put me in a car with handcuff, and I explain every detail. I say my speech never changed during all of these decades. In this tape, I explain when I was sad, when I was young, because I was very different from the other children. I explain my abilities to telekinesis when I was in my room and I telekinetic a pen flying in the room into my hand. I explained my teleportation when I was in a school. Remember this detail. Everything is inside with my voice when I was 18 and 19. It's a crazy because you can you can trick this. It's impossible. And I'm very happy to give this audio release for the world and for the public.
You recalled your past life as a green-skinned, red-eyed extraterrestrial called Luca, and that this involved missions that included rescuing people trapped in a slave trade. That you were talking about this, so you remembered those missions. You remembered all your psychic abilities, telekinesis, teleportation, and most importantly, you remembered being detained by the Men in Black. So somehow the Men in Black knew about your extraterrestrial background. Somehow they knew about that, and you were a person of interest to them, and they were following you and even abducting you. But again, remind us, Jean-Charles, how did you escape the Men in Black? I remember you did something. I think it was some kind of psychic ability you used to free yourself.
I escaped many times because there is the first time was when I was in the car, but I don't want to burn the surprise for the documentary for people. But many time after, I was shot by energy weapon against me, and I explained this in my documentary Starseed Revelation 2. They use some device against me, but fortunately I had these abilities to have a force field around me, and the ray sorry, I lost my word.
The laser beam.
The laser beam. Thank you, my friend. The laser beam ricochet. So this is some people say, "Oh, why him?" etc., etc. But I have these abilities inside of me because before I came to Earth, I keep this power inside of me when I was young and when I was birthed. In 1969, there is a lot of striking and storm just above the room when my mother birthed me. And this is very important to clarify. Something in the universe happened during my birth and during my abduction when I was 4 on the beach. There is a gamma burst wave in the universe recording in the Los Alamos laboratory. And there is a paper to astronomical journal, right? There is they call a jump gamma burst. And when there is a burst gamma in the universe, it's like a supernova explode. And the supernova is 10 billion of the sun bright, like my energy, And I think there is not a chance. There is 2 records of this event in the universe. The first was 1969 July, my birth, and the other was 1973, the day July 2, the same moment I was abducted on the beach in the front of my parents in France.
So I remember you describing, because we did the first interview where you came out publicly, at least in the English-speaking world, and I remember you telling me about your experience when you were taken back by the extraterrestrials, and they needed you for a mission, and you were taken back, and age progressed, and then or put into your avatar body.
Yes.
And I remember at the time hearing that, saying, Jean-Charles, this is just too wild. People aren't going to believe this. And we kind of avoided it and kept it for a later interview. But here you are in 1988 talking about that incident. So it kind of shows that even 36 years ago, that you were aware of that kind of like incident. You want to elaborate a little bit about what happened?
Yes. When I was 4 and I disappeared in front of my parents, I'm disappeared during 1 hour terrestrial time. Okay, but it was more than 1 hour. My parents, the lifeguard, every people searched me into on the beach, but they don't find me. Okay, and suddenly I reappear in the front of my parents, but in 1 second I wasn't here. But during this time, I was on a spaceship, surrounded by beings, uh, white beings, bright beings like angel. And after that, I explained I came back to on the beach, but with this recording and with my remember, the light fading, and another beings came into the spaceship with a green skin and a red eyes. It was Victor, the same beings I met when I was 12 in my room. Remember? And,
If you could put that up.
exactly. And I follow Victor. I take his hand. I was a little boy. I was 4. And he tell me, trust me, follow me. And we enter in a room with a 2 tubes. And he tell me, go inside. And I go inside this tube. And I felt something tingling. And I lost consciousness. When I opened my eyes, I felt difference. But when I wake up and I open my eyes, in the front of the spaceship window, I saw my reflection. I was exactly the same like Victor. Red eyes, green skin, and I saw my child body in stasis, in close the tube. So I understand I was transferred into the Lucas body, and I go with Victor. And now this detail is inside the tape record 36 years before. And I explain I was sent into the body of John Charles because my mission was, so everything is linked, It's crazy. It's crazy detail, because you can invent something accurate like this many decades before.
Yeah, it is remarkable, because I think it also confirms that many of us are actually extraterrestrials who have sent their consciousness to the earth to incarnate in a human body to do a mission. But in the meantime, the avatar body is in a stasis chamber on a spacecraft. And in your case, you came in and you began to live. And then at 4, you were needed by this group of extraterrestrial for something else. And so your consciousness, or your physical body and consciousness, were transported to the craft. Then your consciousness went back into the avatar body. You then do the mission, and then you come back. So right now, the person I'm talking to, Jean Charles, at the same time, your body of Luca is on some craft waiting for your consciousness to eventually return.
Yes, like a clothes. Luca is like a clothes. I change the clothes. Sometimes I am in the clothes of Luca. Sometimes I am in the clothes of John Charles. And this is very important, because a lot of people testimony there was blue beings and they are inside. With my testimony, I confirm. Each people say this. It's true. They are not crazy people. People say, oh, you must reincarnate into Cleopatra, into the... Not only life Earth, there is a reincarnation, other outer limits, outer universe. And I guess it's not only for me. This testimony I made when I was young, it's not only my testimony. It testify a lot of people tell that there was another beings, like cat people, like feline people, like aquatic people, like beings, not people, beings, hybrid, and people say something laugh and mockery about this. But with my proof, it's very huge evidence that I'm not only one to reincarnate from a body of beings outside the earth into life humans, that's so important for a lot of people like me, was incarnated right now, like a star seed. Like a lot of people say, before I came to Earth, I was a beings with, and people say, ha 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 ha, it's funny. No, it's not funny, because I spoke this in the 1992 and 1998.
Interesting what you mentioned. I just came back from Egypt recently, and
Mm.
in Egypt I saw many temples where they had these pictures of these bird-headed humanoids, cat-headed or feline humanoids, kind of like crocodile humanoids. So you're saying these are not this is not a mythology. This is not just masks. That these are real life extraterrestrials from other worlds, other solar systems, and that's how they look.
Yes, that's true, my friend. That's true. Everything is not mythology. I think they use the name mythology because at this moment they want it. It's like legend. Okay, legend is not invention. Legend is the Latin mean. That's what you say. You must say. Legend is a story with different things inside, but it's not a fiction. Legend is I hope I explained myself correctly, but legend mean what you want to say, something else. Okay, go to Wikipedia and you know. But some people like apocalypse. Oh, it's apocalypse. It's the end of the world. No, apocalypse is the revelation. It's the same thing. So mythology with the people with the horse body and half man and half horse. What's the name of these beings?
Minotaurs?
No, not minotaurs.
Those are the bulls, aren't they? The bull human.
Centaur.
Centaurs, yes.
Yeah, yes. I heard I heard Melanie in the front of the door. Centaur. Yes. Thank you, honey. Yes, she say hello to Michael too. So yes. It's a centaur, and they exist, and we found a trace in history, like giant. Parentheses, when I was young, in my book, Diaries, I explained I was in the center of Earth in Agatha, and I saw giant and the big strawberry like a balloon soccer. And many decades after, I discovered a book from Amiral Byrd explain that he discovered giant and a fruit like a soccer balloon. So, this is a proof that it's not a mythology. The giant exists. There is a print of feet in the granite. There is a lot of... So, what is mythology? This is story? Or, it's not invention I get for myself and not for me, but there is a lot of historian say there is a many proof, my friend, that this being exists. Centaur, Minotaur, and a lot of things. And the cat people, and in Egypt, there is a feline beings, and because they exist really. Because it's important to clarify, no one can reproduce something he never see. When you discover in a prehistoric paint a dinosaur, a horse, and suddenly a UFO, this is the reason he draws this, because he saw this. You can invent something you don't saw. It's impossible.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very important that we take these historical records of these humanoid beings, whether they're cat features, feline, or avian features, or kind of like reptilian features, that this is actually not myth. It's not being made up. It's actually, these are real life physical beings, extraterrestrials, that visited Earth and interacted with humanity in ancient history.
And I explained, sorry to cut you. I explained when I was a Luca and I was a Luca child, my friends were beings, cat people, and reptilian beings, my little friend when I was young as Luca was a different beings, and there is a cat beings too.
Perfect. Now, I did want to ask you one more question about what we were discussing before in terms of your consciousness being transferred at the at age 4 into the body of Luca on the starship, and your young 4-year-old body, Jean Charles, is in a stasis chamber, and then you do the mission and come back. What happens when we go to sleep? When we sleep every night and our consciousness leaves, are we, those of us that are star seeds, are we going back on our ships, and are we then going out and doing all missions, kind of like in the movie Avatar?
Yes, for all your question. I guess when you get out your body in the night, you travel a lot for each people. Sometimes you can go into a different body and go a mission. This is a reason why when you wake up, you are more very tired. Because that people say, "Oh my God, I dreamed something very, very incredible tonight, but I'm very tired, like I was in action." Yes, because you are really in action. So yes, I guess for many people, when you are astral travel, but you are again consciousness, and you work in a different dimension and different timeline too.
Perfect. Okay. Well, that is a fascinating question. Now let's listen to a little extract from the 1992 tape that you did. So here, it's 1992. So you are now around, I guess,
33.
22, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you phone into a UFO show called Radio Tour Eiffel with the French host Jimmy
Guieu.
Jimmy Guieu, and you share a little bit about your story, about your secret space program experiences. So this is in 1992. So we're just going to play a short extract of that, and I'll just read it out because Jean Charles is talking in French to the host, and the host is replying. But I'm just going to read it all out in English so you can follow, because the subtitles are not very big. So let's play that extract.
Hello. Yes, hello, Florent. Hello, Jimmy. Hello, Jean-Charles. Jimmy Guieu, do you know Jean-Charles and vice versa? Have you already met? I remember a conversation in a store. I'm taking the liberty of calling you on the radio because I'm in trouble. I've seen things I shouldn't have.
And you went on in that tape to talk about what it was that you saw. So yeah, so what is it that you saw in 1992, and you were reporting that to this French radio show?
I spoke. I was very be careful what I say at this moment, because 32 years before, it was very dangerous to spoke about this thing, And I spoke about Men in Black follow me in a different car, like a Jaguar on Rolls Royce, black tinted glasses, and I explained when I was in my base, military base, I saw something very special, very strange, and I remember the people in the army say, "We don't have a weapon. I guess we don't have a weapon extraordinary here, but we have something surpass the beyond the humanity you can imagine." So, it's not difficult to understand that there are something extraterrestrial in this base. And after this, I explain my close encounters with UFO in forest in France. And I was intercepted with friends by a rider, a strange rider in a motorcycle in the night with a yellow Google, and they look like a clone, They take my ID paper, and there was like this stick, and during 1 or 2 minutes, they record, and they look at the other agent. It look like a police, but with not right police, okay? And they don't communicate verbally. They just communicate like this. They look the guys look the other guys, and after that they give us ID, but that's all. And I discover there is not me, my friend Kevin investigate, and hey Kevin, and he discovered there are a military base in this forest, precisely at the place where I was with my friend. And we felt a big hot inside the forest at the moment, and we bleed the noise at this moment. And I expose my my encounters in the radio with Jimmy, and Jimmy Guieu tell me this is normal when there is a landing of a UFO. Your blood pressure is different, and your blood of your noise. So I explain a lot of things. Okay, I can say everything here because it's a surprise, but you don't be unhappy to watch my new documentary. Inside there is a lot of things. I explain my problem. I explain my phone is listening, is a spy. My line is spy. Is your spy? Yeah. And the line of Jimmy was they check Jimmy too. Who is contact? Who is spoke? Etc. And after that, I was friend with Jimmy, and I gave my information to these guys, this person, and with all what I say now, but he have a double of my information with this information about me. Everything you have, my friend. Jimmy have the same thing. Unfortunately, in there is a 24 years ago, he died, cancer. But everything he had disappeared with my file, So this is not a good thing, right? Because at the moment I spoke to you now, something else of my information.
Well, just to set the context here so people better get a better idea of the significance of this 1992 tape. A year earlier, Jean-Charles served he was a military conscript, and he was at a base, and he has described more recently in Starseed Revelations that he saw an extraterrestrial at the base in an underground location, and that he thought that was actually that he learned that there had been an agreement reached between the extraterrestrials and the French government, and the US was also involved in that, and that's when he began or was recruited into the joint French-US secret space program from 1991 to 2011 that he served in the 20 and back. So Jean-Charles has talked about that in his Starseed Revelations. So a year later, he phones into this radio show with Jimmy Guieu, and he kind of like drops hints or drops a little bit of information about those really critical events. Is that a fair characterization, Jean-Charles, of what happened?
Yes, exactly. But at this moment, when I explain this in a radio show, this is the reason why there is a beep to the base where I was. It's for my safety, me and my family and my friend, and this is the reason why they don't have name it the base where I was. Okay.
So even now, Jean-Charles doesn't identify that base because it's still a little dangerous to
yes.
do so. Okay, well, Jean-Charles, I think these two tapes are very, very important, just in terms of the historical record corroborating, what you've recently said. But I think it's especially important because we know there are a lot of trolls, a lot of debunkers out there, and they say, "Oh, Jean-Charles, you copied Corey Good, or you
Mhm.
copied Randy Kramer, or you're just ripping off other people's information." But now we know that actually your information came out publicly in 1992 on this radio show in France. And 4 years earlier, you actually had recorded some of those experiences as an 18-year-old on tape. And now we have those, that is physical evidence that you actually were talking about these things 36 years ago.
Exactly, and like I say, my friend Dan Willis, who is a researcher about chronology, he say, John Charles, you are the first. And I say, oh my God, it wasn't my objective. My objective was just to explain. I spoke about this many decades before, but at this moment, I never think I am now the first whistleblower of this experience I had in 1992
Yes,
publicly.
it is very good to kind of like have that corroboration, because people are very reluctant to believe in 20 and back programs. They're very reluctant to believe that there are star seeds who are here, who also are simultaneously on a starship performing missions, and consciousness can be transferred back and forth. That sounds like science fiction to a lot of people, but your testimony confirming both of those things, and as well as your amazing psychic abilities. I mean, those were things that you were talking about, and I know you drew pictures as well. Back in 1988 and even earlier, you drew pictures.
Yeah, like you say, it confirm and testimony like the other people said I was a blue beings or another beings before I came to Earth is right.
Now, I know your last documentary, Starseed Revelation 2, in there you laid out a lot of independent data confirming all of the things that you've experienced. So how does this new information, these two tapes, complement Starseed Revelation 2?
Yes, exactly. And this documentary, my dear friend Dan Winter test my brainwave to explain what's happened very special. And he say, oh, do you want to test your brain? And I say yes. And he discovered something very huge because my gamma brainwave, gamma again, like a gamma burst, in the universe, everything is linked. So my gamma brainwave was out of the chart. They must reduce the graphic because it was exploded. And he never seen that before in his life. And he searched the gamma brainwave since 52 years ago with a friend, Patrick Botte, the programmer and researcher too. So he say, he can explain that myself, my energy, my aura, and my gamma brainwave can exploded, and I can created my own Stargate in front of me. I can expulse my power. This is not me. It's very scientific. Okay, explanation of the scientific. It's not my word. It's important. I'm not pretentious. I just naturally I explain what he say. He is the specialist, not me. Explanation is my brainwave is the proof that what you say about your teleportation when you was young, etc., is right in your brain, in the computer, and you can trick this. It's impossible. You can trick a lie detector. If you are a spatial agent, you can control yourself and yes, with the lie. We know there is a training for spatial agent to, but not brainwave. You can't because it's your cerebral. You can control your brainwave. It's impossible. Like this.
Well, I know Elena Danan, our dear friend, she uh, interviewed Stephen Chua, a Singaporean super soldier, and he also had these really remarkable gamma brainwave activities that made him someone of special interest to the Singaporeans and also to the US Air Force. And they took him to Area 51, where they got him to fly some of these fly-by-thought technologies and so forth. So gamma brainwaves, is that really what it is that the secret government or the because you were followed by Men in Black very early on? So is that what they're looking for? Is they identify young people with extraordinary gamma brainwave activity and realize that, okay, these are people we need to watch or we need to recruit because they can operate extraterrestrial technologies?
Yes, yes. Don't forget the experience of the Montauk. They search the different children about the gamma brainwave, and they test a lot of bad things to start the brainwave, and they use the Montauk chair with the crystal, and it's if you remember the series TV close.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
No. Sorry, Stranger Things. The Stranger Things is the story of Montauk mixed with the CERN. And they search brainwave. And the brainwave is the keys for telekinesis, teleportation, everything you want. So there is a lot of decade they search this gamma brainwave, and Stefan and me have this particularity, have the same abilities. Elena say me, she was very emotive and tell me, you are like Stefan. It's incredible. You are like him, and it's because the link with me and Stefan was the gamma brainwave too. Again.
Now, I mean, I've been working, as you know, with JP, and
Yeah.
he also is able to interact with extraterrestrial technologies safely. I mean, because we know people that don't have gamma brainwave activity, that they actually suffer serious injuries. I mean, we know this from Tucker Carlson, talking about something that was shared with him by Dr. Gary Nolan about 100 US servicemen being seriously injured when they got too close to UFOs. So JP can safely interact with extraterrestrial craft and technologies. So is he another example of someone who must have extraordinarily high levels of gamma brainwave activity?
I remember Andrew Badiago tell at the moment they try to time travel and teleportation with adults, but they failed and they die. Only they test to the, you don't know why, but the children don't have this problem. But when you do too much more time travel, there is something dangerous for your brain wave. But there is something different with the children, with the brainwave, gamma brainwave. So, again, gamma brainwave. But there is beings or humans very special, like GP, Stefan, me, something else, have different abilities. We can cross this line. We don't have the problem, because when I was adult and I was teleport myself to the front door of my girlfriend, I wasn't sick or problem. Just turn around like a nausea, little, but it was just this. Okay, so I think many people can do this, but it's dangerous. Maybe one or two, and it's enough. And after you collapse because your brain is not support the power charge. Your brain blows. It's not easy to explain, but you understand what I mean. We are the same brain, but some people have different things inside the brain, like a part of brain develop but not for some people. And some people have the Caroline Corey documentary with children. They use the brain to move something, or can read a book without his eyes, with a blind, and they use the same device to calculate and analyze our gamma brain wave. This is the same device Dan Winter used for me. So, it's again the children, not adults, because the children have these abilities and these skills. And I guess these children came from another universe. This is a reason.
Yes, I think it's very important that we understand that people with these high gamma brainwave activity display these really precocious psychic abilities, such as you've displayed, Stephen Charles displayed, JP and others have displayed, and of course the super psychics from China. Now, I interviewed Miriam Delicado a couple of months ago, and she described how there was a Russian psychic army of 10,000 people, and that they tried to recruit her because she's Canadian. They tried to recruit her into that program. And she said that she was warned by her father never to accept that, because once you accept, then you are owned by them. So what do you think of that? I mean, do you think it's possible? Do you think it actually is happening that the Russians actually have a psychic army of 10,000 people with these gamma brainwave activities and extraordinary psychic abilities, and they're doing all sorts of things with that?
I don't know for now, but I remember heard a different story during many decades. Russia and China work to this program to develop super humans with abilities and use to defend their country or something else. In Russia, there was a little girl can read with his finger. She closed his eyes and she put his finger to a book, and she can read the draw, the color, and everything. And she say, it's natural. I see with my eyes and I can see with my finger. And there is a lot of school at this moment, different school, not school, but particularly school with a program because Russia will work in the future every time. They're very intelligent people, very intelligent scientific. There is a Tunguska problem. There is a lot of things. And they discovered humanoid, like in United States. There is a crash to the Tunguska. But Russia is more secretly, it's very close. Okay, but they was very interested by everything touched about extraterrestrial and psychokinesis and telepathy, and they do a lot of experience with a lot of people and a lot of children. I'm sure about that. I heard a lot of story about that, and there is a lot of things like med bed or device hell, and they came from the Russia, scientific Russia. There is a device, they sail into internet, and each time it's built in Russia, because this people is very advanced, You understand what I mean about advance? No, c'est ça. Very, very interesting. It's not only United States. There is and China too. China have a strong people, are very intelligent, and they can invent something very. They are very connected. Russia, China, and Japan are very connected with stars, and I don't know why. Maybe because it's an old country. Maybe the reason, but yes, there is. So now, to answer to your question, yes, why not? Because they start this program, there is many decades. So many decades. And now there is a hole, a gap. So what's happened now with the technology? We are, 36 or 14 years after what they discovered. Maybe they can activate something in the brain with with an injection, and you are more intelligent, or maybe a microchip like Elon Musk. I don't know, but I want to tell something. This my thing. Okay, imagine if you can put microchip in a brain and activated something was in sleep in your brain, and you can activate telekinesis like this. Imagine. I think it's possible with the technology now, with the nanotechnology. It can activated some abilities you never had, but you rise with microchip.
Well, I know that the whole kind of Kundalini, the chakra system are all a part of that process.
Exactly.
But, we're coming to the end. I think we should wrap it up. So I just wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about, now I know you're going to be a presenter at the Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection from September 27 to 29 in Denver, Colorado. So what is it that makes this event a special one for you?
Oh, for me, each time I'm gathering my friends like you and the public, it's amazing because we disclose a new thing. We have a lot of informers, and it's a different place, different energy, but Colorado is very powerful energy too. And I think this time, with my new evidence, with my new proof, it will be an amazing conference again. And I'm very proud to be a part of a disclosure and whistleblower with you, my friend.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it as well. To me, this is a gathering of the star families, that we all come together, that we need to think beyond ourselves as individual star seeds here to do missions, on our own, that we actually come in groups, and that we got to find our groups, and that does empower us. So I really enjoy this group of people. The presenters, I feel that have these connections to many of them that go prior to this life, and I think it's really amazing to be in that environment where you are connecting with members of your star group that have come here for a mission. So I'm very much looking forward to that, and I encourage people, if you haven't already registered, go ahead and register. You support the process, and you support the gathering of the star families, and I think that's where we need to go as a planet. The star families need to come together. So Jean-Charles, where do people go to if they want to watch this latest video that you've just put out, this film that you've put out on this new evidence, and your earlier Starseed Revelations movies?
The best way is my website, jcmoyen.com. Everything is in the front page, and just click, and you are redirected to Vimeo. It's more easy to find me, because in Vimeo, when you put my name, it's not easy. But in my website, you have the poster of everything, and just click, and have a nice travel.
Okay, so just go to jcmoyen.com /EN. That gives you the English.
Exactly.
English.
Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Jean-Charles. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.
Thank you.
You have been listening to Exopolitics Today with Dr. Michael Salla. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Join or start a conversation in the comments. Take the time to explore the vast library of best-selling books, webinars, and podcasts by Dr. Salla. Visit exopoliticstoday.com.